This is HERkys Voice, a conversation with special Hawkeye guests focusing on the stories and people behind Hawkeye athletics. Now, here's the host of HERkys Voice, Iowa women's tennis coach, Sasha Schmid.
Welcome to HERkys Voice. It's February, and lately I've been thinking a lot about my wonderful friendships in my life. I have some tremendous girlfriends, and they have been a true gift to me. And as we start the month of February, a month of celebrating love, I started thinking more and more about the value of friendships. And so many of our greatest friendships start in college. I wanted to feature this week on HERkys Voice a very special friendship that I had the opportunity to see grow and admire from afar. I have Megan Gustafson, an adorable Huckabee or Daz, joining us today to speak about their sweet, dear friendship that will last a lifetime. Take a listen to Megan and Dory. Hawkeye fans, join 9 of our Hawkeye head coaches, myself included, at our Women in Athletics Luncheon in Des Moines on February 22nd. Coaches will discuss how they empower women through sport and much, much more. The lunch is $30 per person or $225 for a reserved table of 8. Visit the events section at hawkeyesports.com/HERkys to register today.
Hawkeye fans, join Rob Brooks and Lisa Bluter each week from 6 to 7 for Hawk Talk at Bumps Restaurant, presented by Oak Knoll. View the season schedule at hawkeyesports.com.
2023 is the year we celebrate 50 years of Iowa women's athletics. To celebrate this incredible milestone, the Iowa Athletic Department and HERkys Committee will be hosting a weekend in May with several events, including the Black and Gold Gala. The gala is open to the public. It will be held in Carver Hawkeye Arena on Saturday, May 6th. Save the date invites are coming out soon. Tell your friends and keep an eye out for registration information. Go Hawks!
You don't have to go to the game to get a game program. You can download it now by visiting the game day page on hawkeyesports.com. That's right, the game program is now digital and it's free. So check it out. Get the roster, the stats, and fascinating stories about today's matchup. Just go to hawkeyesports.com and click on game day.
Welcome to HERkys Voice. It's the month of February, and it's the month of love. And so I thought, what a perfect way to start February off with bringing in 2 wonderful former Hawkeyes who I think epitomize a wonderful friendship. So we can celebrate the sweetness of a great friendship that starts in college and moves through an entire lifetime. Welcoming into HERkys Voice today, Megan Gustafson. Megan, welcome to HERkys Voice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
And you are joining us from Greece.
I am from Athens, Greece. Pretty crazy.
All right, we're on a Zoom. And also joining us on Zoom, my former Hawkeye from the women's tennis team, who is joining us from Virginia, adorable Huckabee or Daz. Hi, Dory.
Hi. Hi, Sasha. Nice to see you.
Welcome to HERkys Voice.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, okay, you guys, I want to tell everybody about the sweet friendship that I had the chance to observe while you guys were here in Iowa City. And I think it's just such a wonderful, special relationship. And I want to hear an update on where both of you are. And then we'll kind of walk our Hawkeye community through just really getting to know you guys and getting to know your sweet, sweet friendship. So maybe just give us an update. Megan, tell us what's been going on.
All right. Yeah. So, well, this is kind of a crazy time for me. I'm in my 4th year as a pro right now, currently in Greece, as I said before. But since, Iowa and my days there, I was playing in Hungary, Poland twice, and now Greece. And I've also played in the WNBA for 4 years. I was drafted to Dallas in 2019. was with Dallas for 2 years, and then I was with Washington, the Mystics, and then last year I was with Phoenix. And right now I'm a free agent trying to figure out that process to see where I'm going to go this summer. But I'm just really grateful for the experience that I had as an Iowa Hawkeye. I think it's opened up a lot of opportunities, but most importantly, the people that I've met have just really impacted my life in such a positive way. Obviously, Dory is on here. She's my best friend. We were roommates all throughout college. And we still have a group chat, weekly, daily, whatever it is, FaceTimes. And whenever I can, I'm nearby playing. I'm able to visit with Dory. So I just am very, very thankful to be a Hawkeye and to have those friendships.
We've been following you. You're doing so well. You had such a great game the other night, and I was just watching on Twitter, what was it? Just an anniversary of when we kind of permanently lifted your number to the rafters the other night.
Oh,
I mean, you're so in our thoughts and minds here in Iowa City, Megan.
Thank you. I mean, I just love my time at Iowa. It was so special. As you mentioned, being able to get my number retired only a year after I graduated, that was a really special time. And I'm just excited to talk a little bit more about my time with Dory, especially. We have crazy stories, a lot of fun times that we shared.
I want to hear all about that. I do. Okay. So Dory, tell us a little bit about where you are and what you've been up to. And you better tell us everything, or else I'm going to prompt a few things out of you, Dee, because you got some things to celebrate.
So basically I'm across the country from Iowa. So right out of graduation, I moved to Washington, D.C. to be with my now husband. It was a move for both of us, but after the pandemic, we decided to move to Richmond, Virginia, where I am now, and it's a little bit closer to his family. And from there, crazy things have kind of kicked off. He has always had a dream to open a restaurant. So that was kind of the first adventure that we both embarked on. We kind of jumped feet first into events and a storefront, a brick and mortar shop, and just taking off into a whole different world that I had never been a part of, but now I very much am. And it's kind of been craziness. We got two dogs.
It is so successful and delicious.
It's amazing. I can second that. It's so good.
So good. Give us a little bit of the flavor here. Tell our Hawkeye listeners why they got to take a trip to go have this food.
Yes. So Carlos, my husband, he is Mexican. He's from Mexico. His parents and himself, they immigrated over. And he has always been very passionate about that. Like, I hear it all the time. I've been immersed into their culture. But one thing that he's been super passionate about is he grew up here, so he is a Mexican American, and that is what he preaches about his food all the time, and that's what he wants to bring, like some of his culture, but also the culture that he grew up here in America. So he does tacos, burritos, and tortas, which are Mexican sandwiches, and he just kind of takes traditional dishes and rewires them into a way that, like, his creative vision, I guess, sees them. And honestly, they're so good. And that's not just me saying it. I love everything that I've tasted. I have opened up my spectrum of what I eat because of him. And it's just amazing to see kind of what comes out of his brain. And Richmond has responded well to it as well. Responded well. So
they did so well. I mean, within 3 months of opening, you guys were the top 10. I think it was number 9 in the best restaurants in Richmond. So
and such amazing partnership between them, Megan, because Dory does the menu and the creativeness, and Carlos is cooking, and it's just so wonderful to see the partnership between the two of you, and entrepreneurial, starting with passion, and the way you guys are working together and following a dream.
Yes. It has been a wild ride, and it has tested a lot of different skills from mentality wise, confidence wise, a lot of things that I've learned from Iowa, I have had to just hammer into him, like, come on, let's do this. Like, we're a team, we got this. Let's just go for it, kind of thing. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been
Incredible.
Fun.
And then you've kind of had a little bit of an exciting 2023. Tell us what else has been happening.
Yeah, so I on January 10th this year, I released a book. It is called Terms of Inheritance, and it is a romance story. So basically, I have been writing since before I can remember, just basically as long as I've been reading. So third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. And I've always loved it. It's always just been close to my heart. It is a de-stressor. It's a hobby. It's all of that. And like things do in college, it kind of took a back burner, but it was always there. Kind of like if I needed a little bit of time off, I would write or read. If I needed to just like get my mind away from everything, I would write or read. And then after graduating and moving away, and it's always a little hard to make friends and like put yourself out there and that kind of stuff. I was forcing myself to get back into hobbies and things that I once loved. And I started with sewing, which some people know that I like to do, but I quickly just started reading again. And from there, that kind of took off my inspiration into writing again. So I always have a bunch of ideas, but this particular one just took off in my brain, and I had to do a couple different things to get myself to actually finish. I stop in the middle a lot, but I know I wanted to finish this, and I wanted to go through the process of self-publishing my book. So I did that, and it's just been a great ride. I've been learning a lot, and
it's incredible. Dory, I mean, I love it. Megan, how good is this book?
It's so good. In fact, I'm doing a book club chapter by chapter reading with one of our fellow Hawkeye best friends, Jason Kirst. We have this group chat. We've had it since our college days, and we still have it. And we're putting voice messages in there whenever we can't FaceTime to talk about each of the chapters and the characters. So right now we're on chapter 10 and we're moving forward, and it's just incredible. Like the way that she writes is so descriptive that it feels like you're in the story and you're one of the characters. So I'm just so proud of Dory. I love her to pieces, and I'm just excited for this adventure for her.
Hawkeye fans, she is a published novelist. It is called Terms of Inheritance. I'm not quite to chapter 10, so we don't want to like do any spoiler alerts. So I'm a little bit behind you, but I'm reading it before I go to bed. And I'm honestly, I hear it in Dory's voice. It's told from two different perspectives. It is a wonderful romance novel. I'm cheering for them. And I love your characters. And I'm really just absolutely in awe. Both of you are achieving so many things, and you have been such champions of each other, which is what I am just such a fan of. Dory, can you talk a little bit about Megan? You know, you guys roomed together since your freshman year. Can you talk a little bit about when you matched up and the first time you met Megan?
Yes, it's actually a funny story. So Megan was away in Europe when I arrived on campus, but she had moved in before. We lived in Peterson. And basically in our sports orientation, I sat down and I was like, I still haven't met my roommate. I don't know. Like, I know what she looks like because I had looked her up before, but I guess like we just haven't gotten the chance to link up. But me being introverted, I told myself I was going to talk to whoever sat down next to me. Like whoever it was, I was going to put myself out there and talk to her. So some tall girl sat down next to me. And I started talking to her, and we both started talking. I'm like, oh, I'm rooming with a basketball player. I haven't met her yet, but I'm really excited to meet her. And she goes, I'm rooming with a tennis player. Like, how crazy is that? I think her name is like beautiful, adorable. And I'm like, are you Megan? And at the same time, she asked me if I'm me. And it's the cutest little story, but it's honestly crazy. We sat down next to each other, and from there, it's just kind of been this dynamic.
Literally, it's so much fun thinking back to that moment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Dory, you're from Michigan, close suburb of Detroit. Megan from a little tiny town up in Wisconsin, and you both find your way to Iowa and sit down next to each other and realize you're roommates. And what a magical moment for a lifetime of a friendship.
I mean, it's just really cool how that story kind of breaks way into the rest of the years at Iowa. But it's funny, like Dory and I are both from very different places and backgrounds, but our personalities are very similar. At first, when you get to know us, we're a little bit more introverted. But as soon as you get to know us, we're very goofy, outgoing, and I think we just kind of related to that right away from the start. And so that's kind of what made that connection so strong from the very beginning. So yeah, it's just fun to kind of look back to that story. I haven't thought about that story in a while, but yeah, that was a special moment.
Well, and you both, obviously so dedicated to your sports and, your athletic lives, but really, like, I mean, I don't know if Dee, like, you knew Megan not as Megan, the basketball player. I mean, you know Megan as Megan, your friend.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to see, because it's almost the same thing, but also very different, because like I know Megan when she comes back from practice and she's in sweats and all of that, but I also know just I don't know, it's always been there kind of thing. Like she from the very first at Peterson, like we would both be tired. We'd both be dead tired from practicing all day. And she'd be like, I'm going to go down to the courts and shoot. And I would follow her there. I don't have anything to do. I'm like, I'll shoot with you. And she'd go down and she'd shoot, because she, like, freshman year didn't get any playing time. And then from then, even we know junior, senior year, like, literally amazing. But like even from then, like I remember the end of, I think, our junior year, the end of her season, she came back and I had to physically stop her from going to shoot after her game, because like she was just like, senior season starts now. And it's just been that kind of drive and attitude from when we were baby freshmen to when we were seniors, and we were seeing her off to the airport to be drafted into the WNBA. And just knowing that it doesn't happen overnight, and knowing that like the work that she puts in, she loves, and she's still that same, like she said, we're both goofy, we're both crazy. She's still that same goofy, crazy girl, but like in a way that works for her. And I don't know.
Well,
it's just amazing to see.
It is amazing to see. And Megan, like, what did it mean knowing that, like, you always could come home and had Dory there supporting you and just valuing you as a person, no matter what happened at the basketball game that night?
Yeah, I think that was the most important thing for me, especially coming from a small, really, really small town. I didn't really know a lot of people, to be honest. I hadn't like interacted with a lot of people. I graduated with a class of 11 kids, believe it or not. So you can kind of see where that is when you're going into a big school like Iowa. But yeah, she just embraced me from day one. And I think having that outlet from sports and from practices and games and that crazy schedule is so important as athletes. A lot of people don't really see that from the outside. They kind of just see those really good days, those highlights, the Sports Center stuff, like the lights and the cameras and the act, like all that stuff. They see that, but they don't see the hard days. And there are a lot of hard days. Dory has quite literally had to pick me up off the ground and be like, you know what, you're fine. You're going to move on. And I've done the same thing for her. So I think that was really important for both of us, mentally, emotionally, physically, to be able to stay at the best level for our sports. And I think especially my junior and senior year, when I was getting more attention, I think that downtime away from the court and with Dory specifically really gave me an outlet that I can depend on, and to know that like I am a human being. I'm not just a basketball player, and I know everyone gets to see all that stuff and that's what they care about. But there is a person underneath that. And I think Dory really just showed me how important that is.
For sure. I mean, and I remember like even like your senior year when, I mean, there was just so much notoriety, you know, in the midst of the basketball season when we started playing, you know, if you were in town, you never missed coming to watch Dory's tennis matches.
Oh, I love going to those matches, even though I don't know much about tennis. And I would ask Dory, I think 1,000 times about how the scoring works. You know, I would
And
always love coming.
the
to
reverse
watch.
forehand is what she would call a backhand.
Oh no.
That's what it looks like, a reverse forehand. Something like that. I tried it a couple times with her hitting. It didn't go that great, but I kept trying to switch hands too with like the racket, but I guess you aren't supposed to do that.
Well, I remember you coming and watching Dory play, and I would have, you know, my youngest daughter there with some of her friends, and they would like come home at the end of the tennis match, and they had no idea if we won or lost, but they were like, Megan Gustafson was in the stands, you know, like trying to see if who could have the most courage to go up and ask you for your autograph, Megan. But, you know, like so incredibly fun to be able to see you both supporting each other in your elements. And, you know, I think it was like the little like window into a friendship from anybody there was at the tennis match could watch how like passionately Megan was cheering for you, Dee.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I always loved looking up and seeing Megan. I think one of my favorites was I think it might have been the start of senior year. She was up there with my mom and they were going crazy. I have a selfie of them up from the stands and me on the court throwing up a peace sign. But yeah, just having that support and knowing that she would come as much as I would come for her, she would come for me. It was good to have.
So what are some things about each other that, you know, you feel like other people might not know? Like, what are some things that you know, I mean, we know Megan in a lot of ways, and obviously we know now published author, Adorable Huckabee or Daz, but tell us a little bit about something we might not know about each other that you only know when you get to see them this up close and personal.
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I think with Dory, I mean, obviously, like she's a published author. Her and her family, they have this restaurant. I think that's really cool. Her work ethic is incredible. It's something that it's been an honor to be able to watch over these past few years, and obviously out throughout Iowa. But something that a lot of people might not know is like she's such a sweet, caring person, and she really cares about the people around her. She's like a mother figure, honestly. I know that that's how she was with her teammates at Iowa. And I love that. And she's just a person that really has all these different talents, as you mentioned before, just a writer, a sewer, a blogger, a fashionista, like literally all these different things are just so much fun. And I got to experience a little bit of that each and every day. I'd come home after practice one day, she'd have all of her sewing stuff like on her table and she'd just be going to work with that. And then the next day she'd be trying on all these outfits and posting about her blogs and stuff. So like, it's just really cool to see all the different sides of Dory.
It's so true, Megan. That's excellent.
I guess something that most people wouldn't know about Megan, because she's so calm and collected all the time. She's maybe the silliest person that I know. Maybe just as silly as me, so that's good. But just she'll break out and dance at any time,
Bad
any
dancing,
place.
bad dancing.
Well, maybe not any place, but she'll just break out and dance, or she'll make a joke, and I'll be flabbergasted. I'll be like, Megan Gustafson, what did you do? So it's just so fun to be around her, like, and it's not a lot of people get to see it because like the Megan that I see outside in front of everyone is like very collected, very, very to the point, very about the business. But the Megan that I got to see as a roommate every day was just like the silliest, happiest, most positive, which is plain to see. She's just the most positive, like happy sunshine girl that I know. And it's something that that I do admire. And I would literally sometimes, like, if I was having a hard day alone, like I would think about, I'm like, just have a Megan outlook. Like it's not just like outside, it's behind closed doors too. Like she's so positive. She's so like optimistic. She's like, next day we got it, next thing we got it. Like, and it's something that like I still to this day, like I always want to emulate. Like a Megan outlook is a good outlook.
That's beautiful.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
Join Gary Dolphin and Bobby Hansen for Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffrey each week at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Coralville. Hawk Talk is 90 minutes of discussion about Iowa basketball. Check out HawkeyeSports.com for more information.
So when you guys you met each other that one day and you never stopped being roommates all the way through your college days at the University of Iowa. And then eventually there comes this day where we all are like, our paths take us in these different directions where we've got to go on our next journey. What was that like for both of you? And how have you been able to navigate that and still keep this lovely friendship going?
Yeah, that was really hard, I think, for us, just because we were so used to being around each other. Even in the summer times, especially when we were like junior, senior, Dory would also be around for workouts in the summer. So we were always around each other every single day. If not, we're FaceTiming, all that stuff. And it was interesting. So my senior year, leading up to graduation, we kind of had like a dry run, if you'd say that, of me being gone a little bit because I had a couple of the National Player of the Year award tours that I was gone for. And then I was gone getting drafted. And then I had another award thing. And then I had training camp. And so I would say during the last like 3 or so weeks at Iowa, I was not there very often. And that was hard. I think that was really difficult for both of us. We were trying to FaceTime and link up whenever we could because obviously our schedules at that time were vastly different. So it did prep us a little bit, but I just remember like moving out that last time was really, really difficult. We were just like hugging each other for like 10 minutes straight, like crying, all that stuff. But we've been able to thankfully have technology and our group chat with Jason HERkys. I got to bring him up again because he's always been one of our very, very best friends at Iowa. So just having that friendship was and is just a really special thing for me.
Dee, what was it like for you?
It was hard because Megan is, if not like one of my best friends from Iowa. She was with me from literally like day one. And it's just kind of hard to see it go. Like not only was I letting go of this dream that I had to play at the University of Iowa, it was coming to a close. And luckily I got all the closure from that with like senior days and banquets and stuff like that. But I was also saying goodbye to a really sweet friend and like we didn't know when we were going to see each other again. So that was really hard, but we've always been really good about linking up with each other, like FaceTime, like she said, like FaceTiming, calling. Megan sends the longest voice notes that I know, and I listen to them like music. Like I'm like, oh, Megan's talking. So just making that conscious effort because it really is hard to or easy to get away from connections and people when you're doing your day-to-day lives. But like we've always had that constant pull back to each other. So yeah.
Well, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of athletics at the University of Iowa this year. So it's been really exciting. It's such a great anniversary year. We're recording this on February 3rd. Last night, we were at the women's basketball game against Maryland, and they had just this huge celebration, all the different teams, being honored at the different timeouts, and Iowa had a great game, and, just so much energy and excitement and pride in Iowa athletics and our history and our tradition. So I'd love to hear, both of your thoughts just on your time, what it means to be a part of the legacy of Iowa women's athletics, and what a role participation in athletics has played in your lives.
I mean, it's everything, to be honest. The University of Iowa specifically has done so much trailblazing for female athletes. I could name off so many people, starting with Dr. Christine Grant. She was an amazing person who advocated for women's sports worldwide. And she was a huge part of that Title IX discussion in order to get equality among women in sports. So I'm just really, really thankful for so many people at the University of Iowa. Barbara Burke is another person that I have to give a little shout out to. She's just an incredible person. Sue Beckwith, I could literally go on forever with all the different specific people at Iowa who've advocated for women's athletics and that are nationally and world known to do that. So to be a part of an athletics department, an athletics program that really puts women athletes at the forefront of all the discussions that men are at is very important. And I think, Dory can totally agree with that as well.
Yeah, to be a part of Iowa women's athletics was, like I said, it was a dream, and it was everything that I thought that dream would be from the very first moment that I stepped out into Iowa City. I was welcomed just as much as I believe men's athletics was, being able to play in the facilities, being able to be recognized just as much as of a platform as counterparts. It was just kind of everything.
It really is such a legacy of history with our athletic department, and it makes you have so much pride in what came before you, and knowing that you're a part in the lineage is so exciting, and I can think of, the momentum that we have in the athletic department is really, really strong. And, even knowing last night, we pretty much have sold out every women's basketball game right now. You two would be so proud to be in that arena, and knowing that so much of this momentum and snowball effect was really during your time here and those of us that were before us. And it's really just taking on tremendous momentum with huge audience on ESPN, Holly Rowe here. How exciting is this right now? It's really, really just an incredible time to be celebrating women's athletics, and specifically Iowa athletics.
It's been so cool to see as an alum now, looking back at the program and how it's going, and how women athletes are specifically being highlighted more and more. Obviously you mentioned some of the recent home games for women's basketball. I was able to see a little bit of that, when I was still there, and to be able to kind of pave that way for what it is now, it's just really special. And I know Dory can say the exact same thing for the tennis program, just to be able to see our dreams really come true, and it still keeps going. I think that's the most important thing to remember is, even though we went to Iowa for 4 years, we're still Hawkeyes for life, and our dreams are still going, because we want those little girls that were looking up to us to one day grow up and to put on a Hawkeye uniform, and to do better, and to dream bigger and break all of our records when we were there, and to keep going and really just taking off for women further on. So I think that's been the biggest takeaway for me, is to be able to see that legacy to keep going, for sure.
Megan, what's next for you? I know you said you're in the midst of the season and free agency. By the way, I have loved seeing your pictures. I mean, Greece looks incredible. Dory, I think you need to go visit.
Yes, I've been trying to convince her.
Trying.
It looks amazing.
It's been really awesome.
Yeah, it looks like your experiences that you've had abroad have to be just like life-changing experiences.
They are, I think growing up, being from such a small town, I wanted to see the world. And I think that kind of drew me to wanting to be a pro basketball player my whole life. I actually had a pro basketball player to look up to when I was really little. She went to the same school as me, Jolene Anderson, and she played with the University of Wisconsin, and she also is a pro. And she's still playing overseas right now. And so I actually had somebody to look up to at a really, really young age, and to see that I can do something like that as well. So I've just loved my experiences, trying different cultures, working with different teammates and coaches and managements. And it hasn't always been easy. I'll admit that. I think a lot of times my experiences now, they're great. I'm thankful for them, but sometimes I really miss Iowa because of those experiences. But that's okay. I think it's really important to really branch out and try new things. And right now, as I said earlier, I'm in the midst of some free agent stuff. So I'm kind of working through that, talking with some teams, and obviously working with my agent, but I'm really excited to see what's going to happen coming up here. My Greece season gets done in April, and then April I'll start up again. So it's the grind never really stops over here or in back in the States for me.
And there is something about being away, and I'm sure you're feeling like such personal growth in so many ways when you're on your own and in a different culture, Megan, and having these challenges, and you just really got to pick yourself up, and not being home over the holidays. There's so many things I've thought of you so many times, and the things that you're going through and the way you're growing. But I hope you always feel the love of all of us here. And we really do have so much pride in everything that you're doing on and off the basketball court, Megan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think, I haven't said it enough. I'm just gonna keep saying it, but I love my time at Iowa. I'm just so thankful for people like you, for people like my coaches, Lisa Bluter, Jan Jensen. I mean, really everybody. I could be here for another 2 hours. I could name people. But I just love my experience, and I still talk to a lot of people from Iowa, not just Dory, but I'm texting FaceTime my coaches, old teammates that are still there. I mean, it's just a really special connection that I'm going to have for the rest of my life.
There is something when you've been away, like, I don't know when you've been back, Dory, too, but like when you've been away of Iowa City for a little while, I know I felt this way when I left. And you like are driving down I-80 and you see like the University of Iowa, like exit sign. And, you just kind of like drive in and you pass the Ped Mall. It's like, it hits you, right? You're just like, oh my gosh, this place. And I think that's why a lot of us come back. I'm here again. Yeah. So tell us what's ahead for you, Dory.
I am just kind of taking life as it takes me. We are looking into expanding the restaurant where we can. And I am, of course, looking to keep writing and maybe publish some more books. And just,
it feels like this is a part of a series.
For sure.
It might be a part of the series. I don't know, but that's what I want. I definitely want to keep writing and just keep taking what I like and believing in myself and kind of like implementing things that I've learned in my past, especially at Iowa, into my life. And that's something that I have been able to do, and that's something that I will always do, because like Megan said, like it's just always Iowa. It was one of the most amazing times in my life. It was one of the most like growing times in my life. I learned so much from so many people, Sasha being one of the very first, and just taking those lessons and applying it to life and living boldly. And
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so tell us. Got to tell everybody, if they're in the Richmond area, tell us the name of the restaurant.
The name of the restaurant is called TBT El Gallo. Gallo is what my husband's family calls him, and it means rooster.
I love it. Okay, and
Yeah.
tell everybody where they can purchase Terms of Inheritance.
You can purchase Terms of Inheritance for ebook or paperback on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com.
Take
It's
a
so
look, you guys.
awesome.
You will love it. You will love it. And we need more. Like I told you the other day, I'm like reading before I go to bed, and I have Clementine in my head, and I'm hearing her voice. Right,
Same.
Megan?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've got Clementine and
Wow.
Ox, and I'm thinking of them, and they kind of pop in my head throughout the day, right?
They totally
Well,
do.
I'm glad, because I've been thinking of them for a while, and my mom and my sister can attest that they are tired of hearing of them, and they're glad some other people can hear about them for once.
The characters are out in the world, and they're wonderful. You've brought them to life in really great ways. It's a wonderful novel. I read it and I'm in awe of you, Dory. I really am. I mean, the fact that you have accomplished so much since you've left Iowa and you're a published author, you have found your passion, you're living out the things that you should do. You really, and your creative side is beautiful to watch. So I can't wait for more books. And I mean, honestly, I feel like Megan and Jason might actually be starting a little book club with some Hawkeye fans here.
Yes, I'm totally down. You know, me and Jason, we're going crazy over it. So if anyone else wants to join our book club, let us know. We will absolutely 100% do this. Fan club. Let's do a fan club.
I love
I'm all
it.
about it.
I love it. Well, I'm a fan club of both of you and your relationship and your friendship. And, you know, I think the gift of a girlfriend in your life is one of the most special things you can ever have. And you guys are rich in friendship, and whatever happens from all of these years ahead, you will always have each other. And that's like the truest gift of a lifetime.
That's so true. I 100% agree with that. I think Dory is probably the greatest gift that I've gotten from the University of Iowa. So I'm just forever thankful for her and for all my experiences with her.
I love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree.
Oh, you guys.
Woo!
Yay!
That's our thing. We always do that. Woo!
That's so both of you. I love it. That's so both of you. All right. Well, you guys, I wish you all of the best and beyond. Let's stay in touch. And as always, go Hawks!
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks!
This has been HERkys Voice. The mission of the HERkys program is to help our Hawkeye community learn, support, and engage with Iowa women's athletics. To learn more about the HERkys initiative, visit herkys.hawkeyesports.com. Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the HERkys Voice podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game day content, and more. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network. Network.